behalf of Expotrade, I welcome you to the Middle East Banking Innovation Summit.
If we look at the aggregate region or the region lato sensu, we see the increase in activity, which can be computed mainly by the increase in deposits, because you know that this region is a region of banks that are what we call deposit-rich banks. The deposit-rich profile of banks has played an important role over the past few years of the resilience of the overall banking sector in the region. So when we look at the increase in deposits, we see that the increase in deposits this year of $62 billion in the whole region was better than the $41 billion of increase in deposits in the first 9 months of last year. So the region as a whole somehow was able to improve its performance. But if we look at the different countries, we have countries that have been somehow benefiting. We're talking about GCC and North African countries, but we have countries that have, and Levant countries specifically, and Egypt, that have been under important pressure this year. So when we look at the figures, we see that they are witnessing a lower increase in activity, or even they are witnessing a net contraction of their activity base.
The world of customer relationships is changing. There's been a huge proliferation in data. 40 years ago, it might have been fine for you to know the name and address of your customer, but now you need to know not only their name and address, you probably need to know their mobile phone number, their fixed line number, their internet address, and probably their business internet address. 40 years ago, you might have just had a banking network. Now, you've not only got the branches, but you've also got your internet sites, and you've got your call centers, and essentially people are now beginning to contact their banks also on their mobile devices.
The most important thing that we've seen to be successful is really that there is a clear alignment between the business execs and the CIO on what is the mandate for the bank. Because a CIO can perfectly excel and overachieve his targets because the business is expecting just an expand mandate or even a leverage mandate. But what is the most important is just to have a right connection here.
You need to understand what the customer is in what situation. For example, if you capture the social media inputs, you could probably guess what the customer really needs. Because he's writing, he's liking something, so you need to capture and you need to get different inputs from different sources.
What we've seen over the last 3 years is that this environment has drastically changed. Our segments have shifted. We are looking at servicing Generation Y segments, which have different wants and needs. We're looking at a completely different regulatory environment that affects how we bank and how we used to bank. And we're also looking at, in terms of a more connected atmosphere, security and how that's driving changes in banking practices. So these relationships and the nexus between these relationships seems to be constantly evolving. So that's one area to keep in mind in terms of innovation.
A computer interface that you can use it in the branch. You can have it outside the branch in the glass. You can have it on a stand in a mall. You can project it in a TV, normal projector screen, and anyone pass by, a kid, an adult, can just move his hand and interact with the computer. You can scan the QR code. QR code will take you to a message or a call center or a website or whatever. So you can integrate many technologies within the same. What is the cost of this? It's nothing. More expensive than your solution, fine.
It takes a tremendous amount of effort to bring this level of expertise and this number of people together at one time in one place for 2 days. On behalf of the industry, the suppliers, and innovation itself, Expotrade, we would like to extend our sincere thank yous.